Welcome to Oral Communication Quarter 2, Module 1, Types of Communicative Strategy. I am Mr. Nelpon Sambalod and I am your teacher for this course. What students need to know. This module was designed and written with you in mind. It is here to help you master the types of communicative strategy. The scope of this module permits it to be used in many different learning situations. The language used recognizes the diverse vocabulary level of students. The lessons are arranged to follow the standard sequence of the course, but the order in which you read them can be changed to correspond with your needs. The module consists of one lesson, namely, Types of Communicative Strategy. After going through this module, you are expected to distinguish various types of communicative strategy, engage in a communicative situation, and use acceptable, polite, and meaningful communicative strategy. In the next slide, you will be watching a video clip of Miss Universe 2018 Top 3 Final Round for you to have ideas on what are communicative strategies. After watching the video clip on Miss Universe Top 3 final question and answer round, I do hope that you have now ideas on what are communicative strategy. Anyway, as we go on with our lesson, definitely you will be learning more about what are these communicative strategies. So let's now proceed to types of communicative strategy. This lesson introduces you to different communicative strategies that people use in engaging in a communicative situation. Understanding how these strategies work in a conversation is important for a good and successful communication. What's in? Communication is your ticket to success if you pay attention and learn to do it effectively. According to Theo Gold, conversation is interactive communication between two or more people, and it is a significant part of our everyday life. Speech act is a tool in engaging to a conversation. In the previous lesson, you have learned that a speech act is an utterance that the speaker makes to achieve an intended effect. It is how you express yourself to communicate your wants and needs to achieve a desired goal. We are attuned in everyday conversation, not primarily to the sentences we utter to one another, but to the speech acts that those utterances are used to perform such function. Some of the functions which are carried out using speech acts are giving opinion, offering an apology, greeting, request, complaint, invitation, compliment, or refusal. Talking with a family during a meal, listening to a confiding friend on the phone, participating in discussion at school, and presenting report in a meeting at work are some instances of the communicative situations that we are usually engaged in, and it's essential to understand the role of different communicative strategies that we can employ for an effective communication. So in what's in, you are being prepared to the idea that communicative strategies take part in a daily conversation that you're having with the people around you, just like in the final round of Miss Universe 2018, you have their communicative strategies that unfolded as Steve Harvey asked questions to the top three finalists, and as the top three finalists gave their answer. Let us now proceed discussing what is communicative strategy by having this activity. Describe your experiences in communicating with other people by answering the questions below. The first question is, how do you usually start a conversation? You just simply what? Say hi, hello to the person or acknowledge the person. Just like in the video clip of Miss Universe Top 3 final round, you have there Steve Harvey recognizing the name of the country of the finalist by saying Miss Philippines, join me now here, or by saying congratulations and proceeding to the question. Next, what are the problems that you had encountered during a conversation and how did you address them? As we already studied, you knew very well that we have the so-called communication barriers, and communication barriers lead to communication breakdown. But of course, knowing the communication barriers themselves, you definitely know by now how to address or to resolve the issue in the conversation and go on with the communication itself. Next, have you experienced engaging in a conversation with a topic that you are not comfortable with? How did you manage it? It's just like in a pageant or in all of the contestants are really nervous, especially if it's the question and answer round because they are not certain on what will be the questions that will be given to them. But of course, they need to compose themselves, to collect themselves, and by not feeling that nervous so that they can comprehend the question and they can really give their best answers. So in a conversation, maybe you experience being offended by the comment or by the topic that you are discussing or talking about with that person you are dealing with. So now, how do you deal with that? You just simply what? Ignore the comment given, or as if you didn't hear it and shift the conversation to another topic in a subtle way. Could it be that way? Yes. Okay. So let's proceed. Let us read the story below and observe how the conversation takes place. Table number 5. I muttered, looking at the invitation in my hand. I looked around the exquisitely decorated hall and finally found my seat. I greeted the other delegates at the table with a smile and a little nod. I was so nervous. It was my first time to attend that kind of event. It was a seminar for senior high school, and I was the representative of our school. I sat down, grabbed my phone in my pocket, and started browsing my Facebook like all the other three students at the table were doing while waiting for the program to begin. Hey, have you heard that my Mayan Trata will host this event? All our attention went to her as she broke the silence. I noticed at once how pretty she is with her long black hair draping her shoulders. Really? As in my Mayan Trata, the winner in the reality TV show Pinoy Big Brother? Asked the boy in heavy glasses. She nodded. Besides being a reality show winner, my Mai is also a singer, actress, composer, model, and writer. Wow, are you a fan? You know many things about her, she replied with a grin and amazement to what I said. Well, I am a fan too, said the other boy in our group, and we all laughed. By the way, I am Anne. I am from Batangas. She finally introduced herself. I was really waiting to know her name. Everyone in our table started to introduce themselves, including me. Let us process the story by answering the following questions. How would you describe the atmosphere before the interaction among the group began? The atmosphere was quite quiet in the sense that they didn't talk to each other. Now, number 2. How did Anne begin the conversation? What was the topic of the conversation? Anne began the conversation by asking the question, did you know that Maymay and Trata will be hosting the event? What was the topic of the conversation? They talk about Maymay and Trata. Third question, when did the shift in the topic happen? What expression was used to make the shift? What was the next topic of the conversation? The shift in topic happened when the other boy asked, wow, are you a fun? Then what expression was used to make the shift? Besides, and the wow, what was the next topic of the conversation? That is all about what? And being a fan of my Antrata. Okay. Then describe the effect that the conversation gives to the situation in the story. The effect of the situation, the effect of the conversation leads to leads to communication among them, that it paves way for them to talk to each other and to create a friendly atmosphere, unlike in the beginning of the story that they seem to be not friends with one another. Let's go on. What is it? Engaging in a conversation is not just a simple process of talking and listening, according to Cohen 1990. He states that it is bound by implicit rules that requires strategies to be able to start and maintain a conversation. Now, as we go on, let's find out what are those strategies on starting and maintaining a conversation. You better get ready, for you're about to know what are the types of communicative strategy. The first type of communicative strategy is the so-called nomination. A speaker carries out nomination to collaboratively and productively establish a topic. Just like in the video clip, you have the Steve Harvey saying congratulations and proceeding to the question. Or in the story, you have the did you know that Maymay Entrata is the one who's going to host this event? So as you heard those are examples of nomination, wherein again the speaker carries out nomination or introduces a topic. So you use this strategy to open a topic and start a conversation. Nomination is usually employed at the beginning of interaction to set the purpose of conversation. What are the examples? You may start off with making inquiries, giving compliment, asking for opinion, or offering help. This could efficiently signal the beginning of a new topic in the conversation. Also, you may say the following: have you heard about the new normal? I saw your TikTok post on Facebook. It's really great. What can you say about our new plan for the project? Do you think it will work? You are the new student, right? Would you like me to tour you around the campus? So those are examples of nominations or nomination. Still under nomination. Remember to avoid questions that are too personal, like asking about how much money the person or his parents are earning. This may make the person you are talking to uncomfortable and may refuse to talk with you. Topics like politics and religions should also be avoided because this may cause quarrel or disagreement. So just like in the Korean series Record of Youth, according to Park Bo-gum, it is too personal asking questions about the earnings and also the past relationship of a person. And of course, it should be an innate knowledge to each of us that it's always not good to talk about how much a person earns. That's why it is a no-no in etiquette asking about how much a person earns in a month. Okay, it will result to communication breakdown, or it will result for the communication not to proceed because the person will be refusing to proceed answering or going on with the conversation. Also, dealing with the topics like politics and religion, the thing there, the thing there is, of course, to employ respect to the ideas of others. So, if ever there's a conversation wherein the topic is unavoidable, dealing with politics and religion, always remember that each of us must know to respect ideas of others. Okay? The second type of communicative strategy is restriction. Restriction in communication refers to any limitation you may have as a speaker. Just like in the video clip you watch, you have their Steve Harvey limiting the contestants to a minute only as they give their answer. Also, he reminded them that once hearing the sound, then they should stop talking. Restriction. It is a strategy used when responses needed to be within the set categories or instructions. These instructions confine you as a speaker and limit what you can say. What are the examples of restriction? In your class, you might be asked by your teacher to brainstorm on peer pressure or deliver a speech on digital natives. In this case, you cannot decide to talk about something else. You are invited to the police station to answer some questions about what you know about the accident. Then you just need to talk about what you know about the accident. It's kind of the same with accordingly to those who are applying for US visa. You have to answer only questions given, or you don't have to talk about other things that are not included in the questions given to you, or else you will not have a US visa. That's what I heard from my friends or from the people whom I know who applied for it. Because Americans like people who are just straightforward or direct to the point whenever giving answers. So of course, again, as you experience that kind of situation, or you will be in that kind of situation, you will be dealing with this so-called restriction as one of the types of communicative strategy. The third type of communicative strategy is turn taking. It pertains to the process by which people decide who takes the conversational floor. In the video clip that you watch, you have there Steve Harvey calling the attention of the three finalists. First, you have there Miss Philippines. After being asked a question, then he said thank you to Catriona Gray. Then he called Miss South Africa. Then after Miss South Africa gave her answer, then he said again thank you and called Miss Venezuela. Turn-taking strategy allows all participants in the conversation a chance to speak. You can use this strategy to avoid taking over the whole conversation. So it's kind of the same with conversation with your friends, wherein you give time or you give the opportunity for your friends to speak and you not manipulating the conversation. What are the examples of turn taking? You can employ this strategy by making your response shorter yet informative enough to express your ideas and feelings. Then, spoken cues such as what do you think or you wanted to say something provide others a chance to speak. Pausing is a nonverbal cue that will do as well. Okay? So again, remember that in turn taking, you need to be particular with the spoken cues so that you know that it is your turn to speak. Still under turn taking. Remember to listen to the other person talking instead of just waiting for your turn to talk. This way, you can have a meaningful and productive conversation. Also, always show politeness when you need to take the conversational floor from the person currently speaking. It's just like in a debate wherein you need to listen to the person who's presenting so that you can counteract or you can give your reaction to the presented ideas of the person who talked first so that the conversation will be good as you listen to it because there is continuity. You call that you do that for continuity purposes, okay? Wherein you don't just jump to the next topic or to your ideas without processing or saying something about or commenting something about what was said by the other person. Okay, so always show politeness when you need to take the conversational floor from the person currently speaking. That's why you have there the expression, may I bat in? So that's a good example of being polite or in you don't just talk without saying or giving clue to the person who's currently speaking that you have something to say also or you want to say something, okay? We are now on the fourth type of communicative strategy. It is called topic control. Topic control covers how procedural formality or informality affects the development of topic in conversations. In the video clip that you watch, you have there Steve Harvey telling the candidates, the three finalists, that there's only a question that is going to be asked throughout them. So as a finalist, you need to focus yourself answering the given question because if not, then you will not have the chance winning the crown. But going back to the definition given there, topic control deals with uh, just just focusing on what is the topic being talked about, and if ever there are instances that during the conversation other people involved in the conversation introduces other topics or diverted the topic that is being talked about, then you as the one who's controlling the conversation or dealing with the topic itself, you want to just talk about this topic, then you will have there the ways for you to convince or for you to tell them that this is the topic we're talking about. So as we go through discussing what is topic control, you will learn also the expressions that you can use on going back to this so-called topic, going back to the topic that is being discussed or what is really topic control. Okay. So this is a strategy used when there is a need to control and prevent unnecessary interruptions and topic shifts in a certain conversation. Using this strategy makes the conversation to stay focused on the topic throughout the discussion and keeps the development of the topic going by asking questions. So that's the thing that I'm talking about earlier. If ever there are topic shifts, then you can use expressions so that you can go back to the original topic. That's why we call it topic control. So examples of topic control. During a board meeting, the director manages the communication and directs who may speak to collectively develop the topic of conversation. Next, in the Senate session, the Senate President presides the meeting. Senators who wish to speak ask permission to the Senate President. Okay? So there's always someone who's leading the group whenever talking about something, so that if ever there will be topic shifts, then you can always turn the table going back to the original topic. Although others may ask permission to speak the so-called politeness, but as the one who's presiding the meeting, then you always have the control to go back to the topic you are discussing. Then these are the expressions that I promise you that you can use on going back to the topic that you're talking about once you have their topic shift. So example of it, okay? So much for that. Let's go back to the topic and going back to what we're talking about. They can be used to keep the conversation within the topic when there is a sudden shift. Again, this is the fourth type of communicative strategy, topic control. The fifth communicative strategy is called topic shifting. Topic shifting involves moving from one topic to another. A good example of this is in the story that we read dealing with the girl who asked if they knew that May Entrata will be hosting the event. Then you have the topic shift when she said that besides she's an actress, a singer, blah 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 blah, and also the topic shift when someone asks if she's a fan of May Entrata. Okay, and in the pageant world, topic shift happens during the preliminary questions whenever the host asks the candidates about how do they feel by that very night, and ask them about the preparations or give preliminary questions. Then after asking those preliminary questions, then the host will shift to the question itself. So it's a good example of topic shifting. So this strategy is used to change the topic to a new one, which helps communication keep going. Examples: you may use conversational transitions that indicate a shift, like, by the way, before I forget, which reminds me of, and the like. So in topic shifting, you must always make yourselves aware of, or you must bring with you the following expressions so that you know how to shift the topic that you are talking about. Okay? Then another example of it, in a report presentation, you may use expressions like moving on to the next topic. Now let's talk about this time. Let me tell you about. So those are expressions that will tell you that you are shifting to a new topic. Then lastly, remember that topic shifting requires a good timing. So make sure the topic is adequately discussed before changing it to another one. There may be a need to shift topic when there is a pause in conversation. Minimal response like nodding and smiling. Okay? So again, that is topic shifting. We are now on the second to the last communicative strategy. We call it repair. Repair refers to how speakers address the problems in speaking, listening, and comprehending that they encounter in a conversation. A good example of this is a contestant in a pageant that is clarifying herself in the answer that she has given. Whenever you hear a contestant saying rather, or what I mean is, or what I would like to say is that, those are example expressions that are supporting or that are representing the so-called communicative strategy repair. Repair is the self-writing mechanism in any social interaction, according to Shaglop et al. 1977. We can employ this strategy whenever we encounter problems in communication to prevent a breakdown. What are the examples of the so-called repair? Speaker may use recasting or changing the form of message to a more understandable one using the following expressions. So what they need to remember is that you need to bring the following expressions with you so that you can always do the repairing whenever you committed a wrong statement, or you have given a wrong statement, or you would like to clarify something about the statement that you have stated. So what are the expressions that are very useful? We have what I mean is, what I am trying to say is that the speaker may repeat his or her statements using the following expressions. Let me repeat myself again, and I would like to reiterate that those are expressions that are really helpful when it comes to repairing the conversation or repairing the mistakes that you have committed in a conversation. Furthermore, repair strategies also include requesting clarification or making a clarifying question, request for repetition, and request for definition, translation, or explanation. I am sorry, but what do you mean by new normal? Does it mean that we do not need to come to school if there are no face-to-face classes? Can you please repeat the last part of the instructions? Doc, can you please explain what a ferritin test is? Could you please clarify your statement? Repair may also include addressing physical and physiological issues affecting communication. So, repair may also include addressing physical and physiological issues affecting communication. For example, the one whom you're talking to has this physiological issue, then you may say again your statement so that it will be clear to the person who's listening to you. It's the same with my experience way back then when I was not informed that my student had a problem with hearing. So I got angry, but after I found out, then I always made myself clear or loud whenever I talk to that student. So it's a good example of repair dealing with physiological or physical issues. Okay? We are now on the last communicative strategy, termination. Termination refers to the conversation participants close initiating expressions that end a topic in a conversation. In the video clip that you watch, you have there Steve Harvey saying politely the expression thank you to each panelist after she has given her answer. So this strategy is used to end an interaction or close a topic. Most of the time, the topic initiator or the person who opened the topic takes responsibility to signal the end of the discussion as well. So just like in other communicative strategies, you must bring with you expressions that will give ideas or clues to the people whom you're talking to that you are already employing or you are already in that certain communicative strategy. So whenever you are already in the termination part of the conversation, the following expressions are useful. You have there, it's nice catching up with you. I must be going. Thanks for your time. See you around. Regards to your wife. See you soon. In other situation, you may end the topic by sharing what you learned from the conversation. It's the typical situation or typical happening wherein you as the one who opened the conversation with a group of people as if you are stating a conclusion, stating what you have learned, as if I am very glad having this conversation. You have really enlightened me regarding the problem that I'm having. Thank you for coming. I love to see you all. Okay, so that's a good example of that line they're saying. You may end the topic by sharing what you learned from the conversation. Okay, again, that's the last communicative strategy, termination. You are terminating the conversation. We are now on what's more, directions. Select the most acceptable, polite, and meaningful response in each situation by choosing the letter of the best answer. You have the situations and the responses. First situation, your leader unconsciously read the instruction too fast. The answer would be, I am sorry for interrupting you, but can you read it once more? It's letter A. Number two, during the club meeting, you want to express your ideas in resolving the issues you are all in. The best response would be letter C. Excuse me, everyone. Can I share my ideas about it? Number three, you want to end your phone conversation with your friend since your mother is asking you for something. Your response will be, hey friend, as much as I want to go on in our conversation, but my mom is asking me for something. Can you just call me later? Number four, it is your first time meeting your sister's best friend. Then what will be the best response? It's letter A. Hi, nice meeting you. My sister shares a lot of things about you. And the last situation, you want your classmate to help you in answering your assignment. Then your response would be, hello classmate, can you help me in answering this? It's letter A. So that would be all for what's more. Let's now have what I have learned. So what are the different types of communicative strategy? Let us recall them by completing the concept map. So first, it refers to the conversation participants' close initiating expression that end a topic in a conversation strategy. You got it right. It's termination. Two, it refers to how speaker address the problem in speaking, listening, and comprehending that they may encounter in a conversation strategy. It is repair. Number three, It covers how procedural formality or informality affects the development of topic and conversation strategy. It's topic control. 4. It is a process by which people decide who takes the conversational floor. It's turn taking. 5. This means limitation you may have as a speaker strategy. It's called restrictions. 6. It involves moving from one topic to another strategy. That is topic shifting. And lastly, it collaboratively and productively establishes a topic. It's nomination. So that would be all for what I have learned. What I can do? Talk to me. Assume that you are in the situation given and complete the following conversations using acceptable, polite, and meaningful various communicative strategies that you learned. So I have here situation number 3, phone conversation with a close friend. Hello, Grace. How are you today? Hi, Joy. I am fine. I'm busy doing household chores and trying new things. Joy, wow, that's good to hear. I am also busy doing the household chores and trying new things this enhanced community quarantine. Anyway, are you done with our online assignment? Grace, oh, I'm not yet done with our online assignment. Joy, oh, I see. Oops, is that your mother? I can hear her over the phone. Is she asking you for something? Grace, yes, she's asking me to finish my household chores. Okay, bye. Nice talking to you. Have a good day. So dealing with this, what I can do, you check your Google Classroom. Additional activities. Movie mo to. Think of 3 scenes from your favorite movies where different communicative strategies were employed in one conversation. Watch each scene and evaluate if it employs acceptable, polite, and meaningful communicative strategy. Use the table below for your evaluation. So in the first column, you have there the movie or scene, context, and characters. Then second column, you have the communicative strategy used, and then in the third column, you have the reason why it is an acceptable, polite, and meaningful communicative strategy. So I would like you to check your Google Classroom and look for the Google Form link for you to have the clear instructions on how are you going to deal with the activity for our week's lesson. So that would be all for additional activities. Thank you for listening. I hope that you have learned a lot from our week's lesson.